Welcome to this newer Marlo 58. This is a year-old boat. Has 1,000 horsepower Volvos in it. I would say the 53, 58, 62 are probably the best yachts for the people getting into this level of yacht for the first time. When you get to 70 feet and above, they start requiring captains, insurance is a little harder, dockage is a little harder. If you're coming from a 40, 50 foot kind of weekend boat, what I call camping, and you want to move to your first real pleasure yacht that also functions as a second home, I think that takes about 50 to 65 feet. The Marlo 58 is actually understated a bit. The overall length and the beam is bigger than most boats that are called a 58. You have to be very careful about that when you're shopping. One manufacturer will call it a 58. He's counting the tip of the anchor to the tip of the swim platform. And another manufacturer is counting the real living space inside the boat. And there's 10 more feet hanging out on each overall. There's 10 more feet hanging out overall. So you really have to compare oranges and oranges when you want to look at motor yachts of a similar class. You cannot count on the model number as the thing that compares the two. For example, if you look at a Fleming 55, a Marlo 58, and a Nordhaven of about the same size, and you start comparing the overall length of the boat, the beam of the boat, and just which gives you the internal volume of the boat, they're very different boats. So as a consumer, it's really important that you compare oranges and oranges, and what I like to do is maybe create an Excel spreadsheet that has the model numbers you're interested in from the different manufacturers, and put in the length overall, put in the beam, and that will tell you most about the volume. Now this Marlo 58 is a really fine example of a semi-enclosed Flybridge model. One of the toughest decisions to make as a consumer is this a boat or is this a house? Of course it's both. And how much house are you willing to give up for boat features, and how many boat features cost you house features? For example, the space I'm sitting in right now could be a lower helm. Now if you were going to do the loop and you were going to be underway 180 days next year, then maybe a lower helm being here makes more sense. But if this is going to sit in West Palm Beach for 4 months in the winter and it's going to go to Maine for the summer, then maybe having this table here and this great entertaining space with this galley right here is way more important than the lower helm. Because there will be days when you might want a lower helm, and this semi-protected helm up top is great, it's air conditioned and it's heated, but it's not as comfortable as the space I'm in now. So the mission of the boat is really important, and I think the hardest thing a new boat buyer in this class has to figure out is, what is it? How am I going to use it? Because there's really no wrong answer. Is it a vehicle? Is it a second home? And how much of each? So what I'd like to do is maybe take you around this boat and point out some of the primary features of this Marlo 58. All right, I'm in the cockpit of that same 58 when I was in the pilot house, and I want to talk about the cockpit a little bit. When you're coming from a 40, 45 foot boat, the cockpit is primarily where you live. Because if there is an upper level at all, the upper level tends to be pretty small. As the yachts get larger and the Flybridge gets bigger, it becomes the more likely spot to hang out in. I find that in many marinas, especially a busy marina, this area is very open to people walking up and talking, and maybe you want to do that and maybe you don't. So I think privacy-wise and just general living on the boat, you'll be surprised that the cockpit becomes less important and the Flybridge entertaining space becomes more important. You have more air up there, you have better visibility up there, and definitely more privacy up there. All right, let's go on into the salon. So in this 58, the owner chose to do mostly built-in seating on the yacht, and this really maximizes storage space, and you don't have to worry about things moving around. So all this built-in seating has great storage underneath, port and starboard. And one of the things I like about the layout this owner's chosen is when I walk in, I'm not looking at a big black TV screen. So the TV's in the back corner of the yacht, so when you walk in, you're looking at your decor and the things you like to display, and not just a TV. This layout works really well. All right, now we're going to go from the salon up into the galley and pilot house area. The galley's probably one of the areas that people customize the most. These countertops, for example, are a composite with real oyster shells and stuff in them. The owner found this, sourced it himself. We shipped it to the factory and came back on the boat. He also wanted this composite sink. Over here, if you look at the refrigeration, quite often we would have a teak front on these sub-zero drawers like you would have in your home, and instead he really wanted the stainless steel look. I found these little airplane latches. So these are the same sub-zero 30-inch drawers you might put in your home. He got a full-size oven, 4-burner cooktop, and a really nice sub-zero range hood, and that range hood really vents out. So this couple, they really like to cook and entertain on the boat, and this room probably has the most time and thought into what they wanted. That also drove the decision to delete the lower helm and to build this nice dining area. So 2 or 3 couples are really happy in this space, and this yacht is a second home as much as it's a boat. So this living area probably drove the purchase of this size boat more than anything else. All right, I think the next living area that's the most important is your bedroom. So when you're looking at this yacht, again, it's a boat and it's a second home. And I really believe that once you're above $1 million and you're above 45, 50 feet, you really shouldn't be sleeping in the bow anymore. Sleeping in the bow is okay in your smaller Sabre or in your smaller boat. But when you're spending this much money and you're going to spend this much time on a boat, you should have a real island king, island queen size bed and a large bathroom. Come on below and we'll look at it. All right, so this is called a full beam master, and what that means is the full width of the boat is in this room. So I'm underneath the pilot house. When you look at boats and you see a dedicated pilot house where there's just a captain's chair and a place to drive and the galley's down in the salon, you're probably sleeping in the bow. In this boat, the galley was up, that seating area was up, and that was a big pilot house, and that's what made room to build this master stateroom in the middle of the boat. This is the middle of the boat. The aft wall here is about the center of buoyancy, so this is the most stable spot to sleep. If the boat's moving this way or moving this way, this is the spot you want to be. I also want to show you the shower. All right, I am in the shower of that same 58. I have a rain shower head here like I might have at my house. I also have a handheld shower. I've got a nice seat here. These are all Grow Infinity faucets. Got nice tile on the walls. This is a really, really nice shower. And I think if you're going to live on the boat for weeks or months at a time, the bed's important and the bathroom's important. Of course, the salon and galley area have to be big enough as well. But I think having not a boat shower where you're getting the toilet wet, or it's a tiny little shower, that's too much like camping. You really need to feel like you're at home if you're going to be on the boat for weeks or months at a time. All right, this boat has 2 ways into the engine room. I can come in through the transom door, or I have a pass through here actually from behind the master head. As an owner-operator, this is a nice feature because when I get up in the morning, I want to do my system checks and everything. I don't even have to go outside. I can just go right through this door into the engine room. All right, these are 1,000 horsepower Volvos. This model, we could also put 1,000 horsepower 1150 cats. Man, MTU, really doesn't matter, up to the customer. This customer had Volvos in his last boat and really liked them. I've run this boat, it runs great. The truth is, I don't think you can buy a bad diesel engine anymore. They're all pretty good. They're all pretty high tech, so they all have, you know, sensors, and you got to hook up a laptop. There's a lot to them, just like your car. But they're really good industrial engines, and they all perform similarly. No one has a magic bullet that gets twice the mileage of another one. I find that these new, more modern engines like the Volvos, they tend to have a broader range of good performance than, say, a C18 Cat. The C18 Cat will have a sweet spot at 70–80% load, and it'll have a sweet spot down low. And some of these common rail engines like the Cummins and the Volvo may be more efficient through more of the RPM range. I would say that these 13-liter 1,000 horsepower engines are certainly working much harder than an 18-liter Caterpillar engine. So as far as longevity goes and everything else, the science would tell you that the bigger displacement engine is probably going to be a longer lived engine. That being said, most owners of these boats only own them for 3 to 5 years before they move up, move down, or move out. But come on in, see this engine room. I also want to mention that, you know, just like I think it's really important that you sleep in the middle of the boat and not in the forepeak of the boat, in the bow. I think a stand-up engine room is really important, especially as I get older and my knees get tired. If you've got to crawl around down here and you're uncomfortable, you're not going to do it. And if you don't do it, it's not going to go well. So I really believe when you get in this class of boat, you need to insist on a stand-up engine room. I'm actually air conditioned in here, which is really nice. Remember, the air conditioning does not help when the engines are running. It's still hot in here when the engines are running. But the engines aren't running a lot. And most of the time when you're in here, the engines aren't running. You've got to do some maintenance in here. You've got to check the oil. You've got to check the coolant. You may even have to work on the generator over time. So there's things to do in here, and having it comfortable for you is really important. Over here I've got a generator, and on the other side I have one just like it. Aft here I have a water maker. Now that water maker, I believe that one's 900 gallons a day. Sounds like a lot. Of course you'd never use 900 gallons of water in a day. What's important though is I want to be able to make enough water for the day in a couple of hours. It's not much more expensive for a big water maker than it is for a little one. And the big water maker has bigger filters that don't need to be changed as often. So your water makers tend to have a lot more capacity than you would think you would need. I have battery charger here. I have an inverter there. That's my Yacht stabilizer system right there, which is the fin stabilizer system. You can put gyros in the boats as well. There are pluses and minuses to both of those. But this is a really comfortable engine room, really easy to maintain things. Even if you're not going to do a lot of work yourself, it's easy for you to get around, look for leaks, and make sure everything's performing properly. Now I'm going to go aft of here and show you what we call the beach club in this model. And it's really a semi-crew cabin owner storage area. And a lot of customers ask me or tell me I don't want crew. And I will tell you, when you get up into this level of yacht, you may use crew even though you thought you never would. This yacht's very capable of going all the way to Nantucket and going all the way down to Tortola, and you'll very quickly learn that just two of you at the helm moving a boat 1,500 miles is no fun. And all those friends that say they're going to come help you aren't necessarily available on your schedule. So having the ability a few times a year to bring on some help is really, really nice. And I think most couples that get into this for the first time are just sure they never want crew. And I'm sure that you will once in a while. And you may even just want crew to move the boat from point A to point B because you're busy. And having a space for them to live that's not your bedrooms is really nice. So come on back and let's see the crew/beach club. All right, so back here I've got a bed here, one just like it on the other side, and a refrigerator, and from your perspective that's the head. So they have a head and a pull-out shower. Again, I don't think you're going to use the crew full-time or anything like that on this vessel, but it's a really nice thing to have. And you know, when there's that single guy in the family that's coming for the weekend and the boat's already full, this is great spillover. It's an air-conditioned space. It's very private, it's very comfortable. So I wouldn't think most families would have a hard time using this space for family as well. This transom door right here opens up. So when you're in the Bahamas and you're doing the beach thing, I can have my beach umbrellas and my beach chairs and, you know, fishing poles and scuba stuff. All that can be back here. Very easy to get in and out of this door. All right, now I'm going to go forward through the master and up to the starboard guest and to the VIP stateroom. All right, to starboard here we have over and under bunks. This room is very often configured with side-by-side bunks. It's completely up to you when you build a boat how this is laid out. You really have to envision who's going to use this room. Honestly, I find that as couples get older, it tends to be two adult couples on the boat, and this third stateroom really isn't used that often. Hopefully the grandkids can come, but I think this is really a two-couple boat most of the time. All right, we're up in the VIP, and this is a very fine room for a guest. Again, I think when you're spending this level of money and this level of time on the boat, this shouldn't be the master. It's a fine stateroom, but you're always going to be a little more cumbersome getting in and out of the bed here. It's not as nice as the centerline master. And if you do have any waves or things hitting the bow, like you're anchored out or you're just in a busy marina, you'll get a little more hull noise in this room than you would in the centerline master. But it's a great room. I don't think any guest would complain at all. Okay, now we're going to go back upstairs. We're going to go through the pilot house and up onto the Flybridge. All right, now we're going to go up to what we call the semi-enclosed Flybridge. This is a really tough decision for most. It could be a conventional open Flybridge with a hard top. This is a semi-enclosed where there's glass windows on the sides and on the top, on the front. Or this could be a fully finished room up top. A lot of people think they don't want the fully finished room in this size range because they want more outdoor space. And I understand that logic. As the boats get bigger, it gets more likely that you want the extra living space up there and that it's fully enclosed, fully finished. So you'll notice when you get up above about 70 feet, it's quite often enclosed. Around 50 feet, it's almost always open. And in this kind of 60 to 70 foot range, you see a real mix. Come on up and see the semi-enclosed bridge. All right, so as I mentioned on the way up, we have glass in the front here. I do have an electric window that opens here, and if you're moving at all, you get a lot of wind through there. These side windows on port and starboard side are darkly tinted. They are 3M Hurricane glass. It has the membrane in the middle so it won't shatter. And those windows thermally insulate much better than an isinglass enclosure would. So this is actually air conditioned up here, and the air conditioner can actually do a pretty good job because I have the glass on 3 sides that insulates much better than plastic does. I also have a rear door. Instead of a zipper and a roll-up piece of plastic, I've got a real door here, which is really nice as well. Let's talk about the layout up here. Again, we've chosen not to build a lower helm, so really all my systems for running the boat are here. So my bilge pumps, my breakers, this is my inverter control, all of my water tank and fuel tank levels are here, voltmeters, everything I need to run the boat is here at the helm station where it should be. And when I have a semi-enclosed helm, this stuff lives well up here. If this were a totally open flybridge, I would really need a lower helm. I would need a space down below to get out of the weather and to get all of this equipment out of the weather. But this is a nice compromise between the two. Let's go to the aft deck and talk about what's back there. Okay, it's nice to have some refrigeration up here. Refrigeration, especially here in Florida, has a really hard time outside. I suggest this model Sub-Zero. This is the Sub-Zero outdoor unit, and it's got a bigger compressor than normal. It's stainless steel. It's really well insulated. So this drink fridge was designed to be outside, and it holds up much better than a little U-line unit. All right, we're actually going to bring this yacht to the Ft.Lauderdale Boat Show. Hope to see you there. If you'd like to come see it at the show, please give us a call. We schedule appointments. It really takes 30-40 minutes to go through a boat properly. And that means each of us brokers are only capable of doing 8 or 10 tours a day. So please call us or email us and let us make an appointment so when you walk up, hopefully we can get you on the boat quickly and dedicate time to showing you the boat. Hope to see you soon.